you were another year, then we got problems.
Because my thing is, I'm like, I just wonder if he was supposed to be there. I just wonder if he was supposed to be there, like maybe he's like 2 years back. Like maybe he's like 19 and everybody else is like 17. And he's like, I've been here for 2 years now. And I'm like, that's terrible. You need to get out of high school, grow up, like stop.
Yeah,
he has his like smart
like
tendencies, which I like.
He does have some like
that character trait. Oh my god! If you haven't watched Never Have Ever, people like we started right.
Yeah, girl, we on.
Yeah, if you guys never watched Never Have I Ever, you should just watch it. The ridiculousness, and I love the show. It's just a good watch, and it's bingeable. And I don't normally like to binge too hard because I get a headache after a certain amount of episodes. But when I do want to binge, I just go through that thing. And it's really good. You know what I mean? So Never Have Ever is great. Anyway, hello, everybody.
What's up?
It's your Blerd girls, Triple F Queen Bola.
No tagline Whitney.
And we are BlerdTalk with Bola and Whitney.
Hey.
And just in case you are new and never heard of us before and you just like, ooh, I want to hear about the Hocus Pocus too. We are a podcast where Blerd girls, me and Whitney, just talk about like, life, movies, film, things. We just give our perspective. We just feel like there's a lack of black female voices, thoughts, thinkers, and perspectives. And so we created this podcast because we wanted our perspective out there on the media and culture and what it says about life and everything, and just reviewing these topics and stuff. And so that's what we are. Okay. So come on and join us and listen in, tuck in,
Come and let's play together in the bright sunny weather. Let's all go to Gala Gala Island.
I was going to say Bola and Whitney's podcast. But okay.
All right, let's go it again.
No, it's okay.
It's like you messed up the mood,
It's
Whitney.
Quite all right. It's quite all right. Anyway, Whitney, how you been, girl? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know what? I'm doing really good. This has been a really great day. We are doing one of the first things, a first for us. We're recording, well, no, not on the go, because we recorded on the go at BlerdCon, but we're recording in the car, you guys.
Yeah, this is very new for me and not something I planned, but this is where we're at, and I'm going with it, y'all. This is an interesting experience, so we're in the car.
We're in the car. And we're in the car after, you know what? Do we want to make this a joint Blerd Out?
Yes, very much so.
Resonate
podcast conference.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Whitney, I convinced her, because this is what I do. I'm the social butterfly blerd of the pairing here, and then I also come up with programming stuff, you guys. So when I come up and find some things, I'm like, yo, Whitney, let's go do this. So I convinced her, because at first she was like, nah, I'm not gonna do this. And then I was like, let's just do it, okay? And so we came for this weekend. The Virginia Institute of Contemporary Art at VCU, one of the new art buildings, but it's really for the public. It's a museum. And they're hosting the Resonate Podcast Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Resonate Podcast Conference is where all the people who are into radio, podcasting, NPR, air, a lot of people are here. We're all talking about, for the first time, talking about podcasting, how to do it, how to complete it, how to pitch it, and how to use your equipment well. And me and Whitney are just learning so many things. This is our Blerding Out segment, y'all.
Yes, we are all getting some nice craft.
Yes.
Learning.
Yes.
Because, I really enjoy conferences where you learn about craft. We love BlerdCon, but it's a very large number of topics.
Yeah, it's very scattered, so it's like there's too much at BlerdCon. You can't do all of it. You just have to find your little niche where you are.
Yeah.
And then
I wish there was more of the niche that I want, as far as
and I wish some of the niche people came and showed up for their panels.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. I had to point that out because it was a little too many. People were not showing up for their panels, and I'm like,
what y'all doing out here?
Right. But that's anyway. But this one is the first of its kind, and it was also a pitch party. So there were 3 finalists who had made and created their podcast ideas and made some snippets, 3-minute snippets for us, and they pitched it to the whole room. And the first, out of the 3 people, one person was going to get picked to produce their podcast, and we're going to be given $10,000 towards starting that by I think it's VPN. VPN, was it what?
I think.
VMP or VPN?
VPN, I believe.
VPN. Is that NPR?
I have no idea. I've never heard of it, actually, to be honest.
I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to ask what VPM was, but I just didn't.
I feel like V might stand for Virginia, though.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But anyway, they had like a bunch of sessions the whole time, but it was really nice to be in here, talk to some people, meet some people. We heard some awesome podcast pitches, just wonderful things. It was nice to be with all these creators.
Shout out to Natalie and Mav.
Yes, hey Mav.
For their podcast that they pitched.
What's up, girl?
That's right. And the
girls.
Yeah,
because it's Natalie and Mav.
Yeah. Oh, sorry if I wasn't clear on that, peeps. My bad. But their podcast that they pitched, like, they really need to. They came in. They were the runner-ups. Really great. But
they were number one in delivery to me.
But they really need to make their podcast. It needs to happen.
Like,
it was really cool.
So good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. The winner. No lie, I really liked her podcast. I actually want to listen to it.
Like everyone in the room was like, "What happens next?"
Yes, I want to know what happened. I need to. I'm so excited, and it's X-Files, as in your ex-lover, ex-friend, ex-boyfriend, ex-husband,
ex-roommate.
Yes. So
ex-pet.
Yes. So maybe there's gonna be an ex-pet in there. Shoot. But her podcast idea was amazing. Mav's was about indoctrination.
Mav and Natalie.
My bad. Mav delivered the speed, but it was both of them together. Natalie is the awesome sound production person, so a shout out to her too, because she was so awesome and lovely.
Amazing, yeah.
But they both, but Mav gave the presentation, and hers was about the indoctrination. Indoctrination. Thank you. What in the fish stick?
Isn't it? Indoctrinated.
Indoctrinated is the name of it, but I was talking about how people were getting indoctrinated into, especially young people. And the first season was going to be about young life, and it was based off of her own personal experience that happened. But yeah, shout out to y'all. Look up Mavio. She's also a comedian from LA. Well, she's originally from Virginia, but she's out in LA, and she's a comedian. And I was like, yo, you trying to be funny with all this deep, serious stuff? I'm so curious to see how she's going to work it out together. But also, y'all follow her and check her out on Instagram and TikTok and everything, too. Because we just followed her as well. And I'm like, I love comedy, so I'm, like, excited to listen to her.
Me too.
So I'm going to check all that out.
I do love comedy.
So we just wanted to shout you out, Mav. Hey, girl. Hey, Natalie. And congrats to the winner, to, I believe her name was Kelsey. Right?
I can't remember what her name was, but I only remember the podcast name. But yeah, she was amazing.
She was great too. So, but honestly, this was such a great experience to come to a con. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting intimidated. I was telling Whitney about this earlier, but it's because it was just so much awesomeness. And I realized this was not just because we're a chat podcast, but this is definitely a industry people podcasting for writing your narrative. I wasn't even thinking about writing for podcasts. I was like, no, you just talk. I don't know why in my mind I didn't think, no, some of these podcasts they're writing this stuff out.
Depending on what type of
yeah. And so I was like, man, it just expanded my mind for me to really realize what I'm listening to.
And the rest will follow.
Expand that mind. Yes.
Be colorblind, don't be so shallow.
For you who are listening that are new, Whitney will be singing all the time. Off the cuff, without warning. But there was just some awesome things. And one of the things I liked was that this institute here at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, go Rams, because that's our alma mater.
Yeah.
We're both alumni of VCU. But this new building here, they have a community media room.
Yes.
And you can, they have state-of-the-art
professional.
Yes, recording equipment that is,
and
get this,
recording
y'all.
Booths.
Get this, y'all. Free to use for the public, okay? You just gotta get booked. Now, this is something I have never heard. Studios time that is free to use for the public.
I actually have heard it. So now that since we're educating,
but this kind of stuff, Whitney, this kind of this is state of the art stuff.
It is state of the art stuff. I mean, the sound, the
phone that you can't touch on the booth
is really cool, but. We actually should make that a Blerd outing. We should go find the one in Henrico, because Henrico libraries, because libraries are awesome resources. Chesterfield Libraries has 3D printing, but Henrico Libraries, one of their libraries has a recording studio, a podcast recording studio. Okay. So maybe we should do a
field trip.
Yeah, Blerd outing.
Blerd Out. Yeah, because we haven't done any of those in a while.
No, that's 1.0. I thought you had done 2.0.
No, that was the song for that day. We're going back to Blerd Out. Blerd Out. We're still in our Blerd Out segment.
Okay.
Yes. I got another Blerd Out though, for real.
Yeah, girl.
So I went to a couple weeks ago, I went to the Lizzo concert in D.C.
Oh, yes. Tell us.
I just have to
Tell
say
me something good.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. It's going to be good. It's going to be gay. Gay?
What? What?
I was trying to say great. And then, anyway, whatever. It's going to be great.
You're sounding like from like Mean Girls, which is like, Gru.
Oh, my God. Don't mind me. It's going to be great.
Okay.
Because Lizzo, I'm like, I felt like after this that I was in love with her. Yes. I felt like I was in love with her.
Yes,
just after the experience. I'm not gonna lie. Can I just say I haven't been to a concert experience in a very, very long time. I enjoyed it so much, even though I got sick afterwards. But I enjoyed it. It was worth the COVID. It was worth it.
Okay.
But I just was in awe of Lizzo. Like she was doing her thing. Like she had stamina, and her voice was magnificent. I didn't even realize how awesome her voice was. I knew she had a good voice, but in this concert, she's awesome. The notes she was hitting, and then her flute skills. Sasha Fierce was her flute. Not Sasha Fierce. Sasha is the name of her flute. Sasha Fierce is Beyonce. Sorry, y'all. Beehive, don't come after me. Sasha is the name of her flute because Lizzo is an actual like concert classically trained flutist. And is that the right way to say that? Flutist?
Is it flutist or flautist? Isn't it spelled like F-L-A-U-T-I-S?
Florist. No, I'm just joking. Flutist, and she can twerk and play that thing at the same time, which is a feat within itself. Okay, but I mean, I was just the special album is amazing. I love that song, Special. It's one of my favorite songs on her album. She has such positive vibes, good music. But it just makes me sad, though, because she has been facing so much backlash, unwarranted, unprovoked backlash, hatred, fat phobia comments from stupid-ass black men that, one, I don't know why they take pleasure in tearing down a fellow black person, a black woman who is just doing her thing. It doesn't matter if she's not your taste or type or whatever. Doesn't mean you need to tear her down or tear her body down because you don't agree with how she's supposed to look, especially when they're asking you about her music. So I just want to address the haters. Y'all can just beep off, okay?
That's interesting. That made me think of a stand-up that I watched recently. I can't remember who, because I watched like 3 in a row of new ones that I saw on Netflix. And one of the women was talking about, like, just people hating on people. Like, and she was like, guess what? Oh, you know what? It might not have been Netflix. It might have been Yvonne Orji's.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah,
I watched that too. Yep.
Is she the one who was like, guess what, guys? If you don't like so-and-so, you don't have to fuck them.
No, I don't think she said that.
Okay, then it must have been one of the Netflix ones.
Okay.
But she was like, if you don't like them, you don't have to have
Yeah,
them.
Exactly.
And it's like the same thing. And if you don't like them, you don't have to listen. It's like you don't have to go spouting off at the mouth. Nobody asked me about that.
My thing about Aries, because I don't want to really talk about him, but my thing with his comment was that somebody asked him about her music. They didn't ask him about her body or anything. And he, being a dumb fool and just a terrible man, anyway, he got a case against him too. So he's been canceled as well. But he's still out here trying to do his shows, but he's been canceled. But he just went straight to her body. And I was like, this is not even the context. Like, somebody's asking you about... The person that asked him the question was, like, praising Lizzo's music. He's like, you know who got good songs? Who's a good songwriter? And he's like, who's that? He's like, Lizzo. He's like, Lizzo? Oh, he's like, man, I'm sorry. I can't really get down with that. And he was like... I was like, I can't get down with that when you look like a plate of mashed potatoes. You need to go to the gym, boo-boo. And I was like, what the hell? Are you serious? And I was like, it's a total disconnect.
Yeah.
Somebody said her music. If you don't listen to her music, okay, I was like, oh, I'm not a fan. I don't listen. That's not an invitation for you to address her body or anything.
Right.
Just because of what you feel she looks like. Lizzo looks great. Lizzo is healthy. She's a vegan. She be in the gym. Honestly, for all the songs she was doing and the dancing back to back, that girl has stamina. She's healthy and she's happy and she's beautiful the way she is. I don't know what the hell he's looking
gorgeous.
at. He cannot get her at all. Not even a second look from her. Not at all. So I'm like, he over there looking like a bag of sack potatoes, talking about mashed potatoes. But anyway, I just was so mad because I saw the brilliance of this woman. How she was shining, how people were just there for all sorts of people. In all the concert goers, I was looking at everybody because I love to people watch. All the people were just looking amazing. Like, you just saw all sorts of people, all types, body types, shapes, whatever kind. They were there.
Yeah.
All wanting to watch her. and be there in the room and connect with her and me. So I'm just like, she's somebody that sings for everybody, and her music is something you can actually dance to. And it's just, I just was like, this unwanted hate and bashing from her, from Kanye, and from him, and from Ari Spears is like, doesn't make any sense. But I want to go back to praising her because I was just in awe of her. And me and T, one of my friends that we went to the concert, we just had a wonderful time. And I just love her music more. I play it more. Now, anytime somebody got a birthday, I play Lizzo's birthday song. I don't play Happy Birthday. I'm like, is it your birthday, girl? Because you looking like a present. Is it your birthday? Y'all need to just listen to it. Just plug it up. Wherever you listen to music, just plug it up. But Lizzo's concert was fire with me. I was like, awesome. I was very happy. Very happy.
Awesome.
So I just want to blurt out about Lizzo because I just love her. She's my spirit animal. So we're doing good at Resonate and Lizzo concert. You got another blurt out with me?
Yeah. First, I want to continue on from our shared blurt out about Resonate. Also want to shout out Kerri, our new friend.
Yes.
Best
hey, Kerri.
friend that we made today. Like, just so awesome. We spent like hours talking to her.
Connecting.
We just met her today and spent hours talking to her. It was amazing.
Broke broke french fries and burgers.
Yeah,
really good.
Burgers and bread.
And honestly, she made this is a good spot. I love when she finds a good spot in Richmond downtown here, because we live in the county. So whenever we come up here and I eat some good food, I'm like, yes, thank you for recommending that place.
Yes,
but now I know where to go.
Oh yeah, speaking of, what was it called?
Beauvine.
Beauvine. Beauvine. So good. That burger. I mean, Kerri told us about the fries, these duck confit fries, which is what the draw was for us, and the fries were great, but the burger, oh my God, I had a whole relationship, and just, that burger was so good.
Yeah, it was
so good.
Fantastic.
But just got to shout out Kerri, and also, you guys, I'm hoping Kerri will actually make her podcast, because she has got a number of really great podcast ideas, and I really hope that she makes one/all of them, because, and just like, when she does, give her some love, guys, because these are great podcast concepts. She should pitch next year.
I know. They do it again. They should. I'm like, we need to call her and just be like, Kerri, you need to pitch that one of the 3 awesome ideas you had.
Yes, exactly.
Indeed.
But my personal blurred out this time is actually the Empress.
Oh yeah, tell
Netflix.
us about it.
Oh my God, it was one of those things where I can't remember if it had actually been in my, like, the emails, because you get the Netflix sends you emails. We think you might like this. I don't remember if it was one of those or not, or if it was just like a top thing. I saw it playing at the top like a couple times, and the trail, like, it wasn't a trailer. It was like more of a teaser. The teaser they had, it didn't really pull me in so much. But I can't remember what it was that made me want to watch it. I don't know if I read something else talking about it.
Period piece drama pull. That's what it is.
I don't know because Netflix pitched it to me before at the top, and it didn't get me that first time. So
did you see like another scene or another clip? Maybe
because I think now they're starting to do like those 3 or 4 at the top, and it goes between them. And I think maybe it was a longer and different clip, and that one got me. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe
something
that's
else.
What it
another
was.
Vantage point. Yep.
Another vantage point. I was like, oh, actually, this does look interesting. So then I, of course, binged my way through it.
How many episodes?
I think it was like maybe 8 episodes. I don't think it was 10. It could have been, but I feel like it was more like 8 episodes. But it was just so good. Like, I loved it because you get a little bit of like the Bridgerton vibes. You also get some kind of Game of Thrones type vibes or House of the Dragon vibes, because like it's like political things happening, because she's the Empress of the Habsburg Empire, which I was like, I recognize the name Habsburg, but I'm like, they had an empire though, because it's like it's Austria, and I'm like, Austria had an empire.
Yeah.
And apparently the Holy Roman Empire of Austria. And I'm like, were there 2 Holy Roman Empires, or was Austria the Holy Roman Empire? I didn't know, but it was interesting, because I'm like, oh, this is stuff that, history class from high school was a long time ago.
My thing is, it's Europe. It was just too much. I don't got time.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on there. But it was just a really engrossing series to watch.
Is it like a drama, or is it like?
There's a little bit of romance at the beginning. I mean, there's romance because she like her relationship with the emperor, because that's like how she becomes the empress, because he falls in love with her. But then there's a lot of like intrigue, and then there's like the brother who liked her and stuff.
I like intrigue.
Yes,
I like intrigue.
That's the thing that really drew me in, was the intrigue. And then like the emperor's mother, she was the dowager empress or something. I don't know. That's not what they called her, but she actually had most of the control.
I actually know about. I had watched a video about who that show was about, and so like his mother was completely controlling.
Yeah,
completely controlling. Like she would not even let her like have any say over her own children. Like they would come out of her and they would take her child, and she would not see. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. That shit happen all the time.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's really interesting, because then it's like this friction between the two of them, because she's like, oh, I've got ideas, and the mother is just like, you don't know what you're talking about.
It's crazy.
It's just like that tension, and then there's like this whole thing where France is on Napoleon. I was like, oh, this was during Napoleon time?
You got a whole history lesson, Whitney.
Yes. And then like Russia on the other side, or I don't know if it was Prussia at that time. Is Russia and Prussia two different things? I don't know. But like Tsar Nicholas, not the one who, not that Tsar Nicholas with Anastasia as a daughter, but I guess one of the first ones. He's like on the other side, and then they're like, Austria's caught between them, and there's like, you got to pick a side. And he's like, no, I'm not picking a side, because I'm trying to do other things with my people. I don't want to put them in war and stuff. But it's just, it was
about his folks.
Yeah, it was really engrossing. And then there's like a whole thing with like a revolution brewing between there, and they actually want to try to kill the emperor.
It's a lot. Sounds like it's a really good show.
It's really good. I watched it, and I was like, because I wanted my mom to watch it, but we watched it late. So we watched one episode, and we were getting partway through the second, and she was kind of falling asleep a bit because it was like 12 a.m. or something. But I was like, oh, I want mom to see this. This is good. And I was like, oh, I think Bola will really like this too.
Okay, I might check it out, because it's my alley. I'm not going to lie. As much as I'm like over Europe, I do like that. I love the period pieces.
You're right.
I do. I'm not going to lie.
I know.
That's
know
why
you
I'm
like
loving House of the
pieces.
Dragon and Lord of the Rings right now.
Oh,
I mean, Rings of Power.
Rings of Power,
I'm loving it both. They
I
just
need
finished.
to get back into that. I'll probably rewatch 1 and 2 just because it's been so long since I watched them, and go ahead and finish it.
No, I was waiting for you. Isn't House of the Dragon finishing this Sunday? Is this the last episode of Sunday?
No, I believe this is the next to last.
Okay, so it's 10 episodes then.
Yes,
okay,
there are
so
10.
Thank God, because I'm loving House of the Dragon.
I know, it's so good. Like, that's part of what makes the Empress so good, because like House of the Dragon, it's got a much more condensed, like, focused story, and the intrigue is what makes it so good.
I like the slowed down pace, and I like the intimate look, deep dive into this fan, and I'm fascinated by the Targaryens. I'm just fascinated, because they're not a lot of them in the Game of Thrones series,
right? So, and there's still dragons, but the dragons are like very secondary. You're like, I don't even care about the dragons. Like, what's going on with all these different Targaryens?
Like, it's very interesting. All the incest going on, and everybody's okay with it. Uncles getting with aunts, and Lord, cousins marrying cousins, and brothers marrying sisters, and ooh.
And I think that speaks to like a really good series. When there's a fantastical element to it, but it's more like a garnish than like, this is the whole reason you watch. Like, it might have drawn you in, but you're like, oh, but this story though.
Yes.
I mean, the dragons are nice with this story.
Yes, I agree with you. And I will quickly blurt out about one more thing. Me and my family we were super late on this show, super late, but I have to talk about it because it's like awesome. Me and my family binged like season 1 of Daredevil. Now that's on Disney Plus.
Oh, girl, yes, it's so good.
Sexy Charlie Cox.
Yeah, he's perfect.
He's so fine. The smile is just beautiful.
He was so perfect as Daredevil. Then they're now rebooting it, and they're like, you know what? It was too good. We got to use him.
Bring him back.
We can't recast.
I'm so mad I didn't watch this a long time ago, and I don't know why I
understand how you didn't. Especially since he kicked off like the Netflix series. That was what kicked it off.
I don't know why, Whitney. I was just like not feeling all the Defenders that much, but I did watch Luke Cage because I love Luke Cage.
Oh my God,
I watched Defenders and I was so mad that they canceled Luke Cage. But I didn't watch the Defenders, the series. I just was like the series of, how it was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't finish watching Jessica Jones, and I don't know why I didn't get into Daredevil, and I wanted to watch it because I love Charlie Cox, but I just didn't get into it. But I'm telling you, me and my family binge watched the first season. That first season was fire.
It
was amazingly good.
It
like
is.
terse. It was just like I could not
I really love season 2 as well. I never finished the season 3.
Yeah, we just started season 2. In fact, they were waiting for me, so we all watching together. So they're like pissed off. They're like, "Why are you off this weekend? We need to watch it. Can we watch without you?" And I'm like, "Y'all watch something else real quick." They're like, "We want to watch this show, but we're waiting for you." But it was amazing, Whitney. It was amazing.
It is great. But it made me think of something different because when I was telling Bola earlier today, or it might have been yesterday, about like, "Oh, you need to watch this," and she was like, "I haven't gotten around to Ranking of Kings yet." I was like, "That's not what I was going to say, but yeah, you do need to watch that." I think I just saw an IMDb today because I put a little watch thing on there. They're like, "New episode," and I'm like, "What? Ranking of Kings? Why did I watch it?"
Oh, it has a new episode?
I think so.
Hey, new anime.
Giggity! I'm so excited. You really need to watch it. I'm so excited.
Okay, so let us get into the topic at hand. Or is there anything else you want to say?
No, let's do it.
All right, so this is the month of October, y'all. So we can get spooky-ish.
We can't go full on spooky with Bola.
Yeah.
I was a scaredy cat.
Not even. I just don't do the demonic, so I just don't like the scary. I call it the demonic for myself. But I just don't do the scary, the bloody, the horror. Mostly horror. I can do thrillers. I can even do blood when it comes to the action and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't like horror. Like, I can't do it. It hurts my spirit. I don't know. I've never been able, ever since I watched Jason as a 5-year-old, and I was like, I can't do this kind of stuff. I don't like recreational fear. So I'm just not. I can't. Okay. So, but I can do what I did like growing up, even though also because my family's very Christian. My mom and my family's Nigerian, as you all know. Well, those who do know. So they don't have Halloween. It's like a devil holiday to them. So it's like, it's very bad, especially for families that are very Christian. So my mom was like, no. And we didn't celebrate Halloween when we were growing up, really. She let us trick-or-treat like once. But now my nieces get to do that all the time. They get to trick-or-treat all the time. So it's just not fair. But anyway. But what I liked growing up was watching the Disney Channel Halloween movies. Because they were tame. Because they were tame and wholesome and nice and sweet. And I was just like, they were like spooky, but not like overkill. And I was like, I can get down with this. I can do this. So it's like Disney light horror. I can do that. But that full on like Ring and the, Exorcist, all that stuff, Smile and Get Out concept. I can't do it. But I loved, what are some of the Disney Channel movies that we like, the Halloween movies that you like?
Halloween Town,
Hocus
2,
Pocus was on there all the time. 3,
Halloween Town Revisit. No, I don't think there was a revisit, but they made a lot of Halloween Towns. I
was like, damn, how many Halloween Towns? They had the one with the, they had the movie with the tower, where they were in the tower, like this
Tower of Terror?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I never watched that one, though.
The hotel where, like, the elevator was old. Okay.
What was that? Oh, I liked the mummy one, where the, like, mummy came and the little boy, like, became friends with the mummy.
Oh, did I watch that one? I don't think
you didn't?
Did.
Oh, man.
I don't think I watched that one. Did you watch the one about the, something under the bed, like the boogeyman?
I don't think so.
Don't look under the bed or something? I like that one where there was, like, a boogeyman that was under the bed, and he was black, actually, and the girl was white. And there was also one about the vampire, like the kids whose stepfather was going to be a vampire, or their mom was dating a vampire. It was just, there were so many like Halloween movies that were just like cool. They were like spooky, but just like fun and wholesome, and I loved it. And Hocus Pocus was one of those too.
Disney used to make like some really good made for TV movies.
Exactly. And
like Disney Channel movies used to be like, I loved them.
I still smile, and so in the spirit of that, and so Whitney convinced me, because I told her if she wanted to do a horror movie, she needed to get a guest host, and y'all can do that, and I'm gonna be out. And I'm like, I was like, Whitney, you could totally do that. I give you permission. But I was like, okay, so I was like, she's like, let's do a Halloween theme, but let's do Hocus Pocus 2 since Hocus Pocus 2 came out. And I was like, bet, I loved Hocus Pocus 1, so we can do Hocus Pocus 2. So that's what we're going to do today, guys.
Though, to be honest, for me, you guys, I want it to be a Hocus Pocus / Hocus Pocus 2, because for me, this was a dumpster fire. Hocus Pocus 2 for me was a dumpster fire.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you said that, because first impressions, I watched it once with my family, with my sister.
Yeah,
and we both were like, what the hell is this?
What is, like, my mom came to my house, like, what was it, week before last to watch, and she was like, oh yeah, Hocus Pocus 2 is that, let's watch that. And after it ends, we both kind of look at each other. It was like the same look we had at the end of Game of Thrones. Like, that same expression, like, what was that?
Like, who paid to make this?
Right?
Like, who signed off on this?
I waited years, probably close to a decade, for a sequel. It's just like, this is what you do to me?
I'm so glad you said that because I was like, I was like trying to find the most nice rating, but I was like
no,
my rating wasn't going above
fire.
My rating wasn't going above 5 because I was like, I can't. I was like, this is trash. I can't.
Yes.
I was like, ain't nobody. I was like, can we do a Had They Been Black for a second? So the new series is like a bunch of new people. There's still the Sanderson sisters.
Yes.
But it's like
and Billy Butcher.
But I was like, one, there was a black guy who started this whole thing. And I was like, now ain't no black person fooling with this kind of stuff. I was like, what? I was like, so the black guy tricked these little kids into lighting a candle.
Because he took the wax from the black flame candle and he remade the freaking candle.
I was like, what the heck is this? I was like, ain't no way. And then I was like, no. Y'all black, and then the lead girl is like, I guess mixed or something. Both of them are ladies of color. For the three people.
The character's name was Becca. Y'all, I have to have, most of the time I have to have IMDb up just because I sometimes forget. But the reason I had to, for this time, it's not just because I'm forgetful. It's because this whole movie was forgetful.
Yes. Whitney, had they been black, now you know better. Ain't no way her mom was going to just let her be in the... No, ain't no way no little black girl's going to be in the woods, be like, I'm just going to be here to celebrate my 16th birthday. I was like, ain't no way. And my sister's like, maybe she mixed and this is her white side. I was like, shoot. So there's a Had They Been Black moment for both of these because I was like, ain't no way. I just was like, the story was just not fire.
The story was trash. Well, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Whitney. I agree. I'm so glad.
Garbage on fire, maybe.
Yeah, and then you know what's messed up? After I watched the second one, I was like, oh my God. Let me watch the first one. And then I was remembering how much the first one was so good.
I watched the first one. I watched Hocus Pocus pretty much every year near Halloween because, and even though it was made in, I think it's 93.
Yeah, it's 93.
You know how there's some movies where you go back and watch them, things that you loved, and you're like, this isn't really holding up anymore. Hocus Pocus is not one of those.
Up, yes.
Hocus Pocus is still fantastic today.
Yes. I was looking at the contrast because it was right back to back.
That's what I had to do because I'm like, what is it about the first one that they failed so bad on?
I'm so engrossed in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. With Hocus Pocus 2, the issue with the kids, I had care less about these little kids and the little spats.
Yeah.
I do not understand. I was like, I'm not pulled in. I'm like, okay, so this girl has powers. So now she's just a witch that wants to bring... And I was like, what happened to... The Sandersons are supposed to be the enemies. They're the funny, comical, but they're supposed to be the enemies. So why the girl trying to join them to be a witch too? I was like, what is happening here? The other one had like a follow-through story where you could just follow... You're at the you could connect with the characters.
It had stakes.
I was not connecting
It had
with
legitimate stakes that that weren't forced. Because I was rewatching it this morning. I didn't finish my rewatch through, but I remember most of it. But I just needed to get close enough. Because you start off with... you hear the song, "Come little children, I'll take thee away." Yeah. The nice, song that Sarah Jessica Parker sings. And, well, not nice song, because it's luring children to their deaths. But, then, is it Zachary or Thackeray?
Thackeray Binks.
Thackeray Binks, he, wakes up and he looks and is, the bed next to him is, empty. And he's like, where's Sarah? Where's my sister? Mm-hmm. So this is, immediate stakes. This is a dude who's looking for his sister, and it's his friend's I saw her go into the woods. She's dead now because they know the witches live in the woods.
Yeah.
So it's immediate stakes. You are invested because here's this dude who it's not you're not really. You're being shown, not told, that he loves his sister. Mm-hmm. You saw him. He went by himself. He's get the people together, the adults together, but I'm going after my sister. They're not taking my sister.
It's emotional connection. The stakes were there. The story was there. You're hooked from the beginning. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the decision was for Hocus Pocus 2 to start off with young Sanderson sisters, where they went to their background story. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah. Because apparently we're getting something out of this. But I was watching it afterwards, and I was like, okay. But I was like, maybe this will pay off later.
Yeah.
And I was like, it really didn't.
I understand why they put it in there as far as how the movie ended. But it was very forced. Pretty much all of Hocus Pocus 2 was forced.
Yeah.
It was they were trying to recreate all of the good moments of Hocus Pocus.
Instead of thinking about how to make this a new, different film.
You can have elements, but you don't want to... You don't just try to remake it. It did not work.
And this is why
I have
problem. You're right. This is why I have problems with everybody trying to redo the past. And I'm like, some of this stuff needs to stay where it's at. You keep trying to redo it. And I'm like, this is good as it is. If you didn't bring it up closer to the time when it came out, like, just leave it. Or come up with something totally different. But they kept trying to... One of the things... There were some funny moments. If we're going to get into pros. There were some
trying to make fetch happen. It's never going to happen.
There was some funny moments. I did enjoy the funny parts of like there were some funny comical
very
points.
few. I mean, there were some, but it was like... most of them, they were trying really hard.
I mean, I like the part where they were like drinking the lotion and all that crap because I thought it was funny because it was like, again, the Sanderson sisters are like... The time has changed again, even though they weren't gone for as long as they were. He was like, think about the 1600s to 1993 was longer than 1993 to 2022. You know what I mean? So it's like, or 2021, I guess 2022. So the gap was not as bad, but the change of in culture from 93 to 22 is very vast. So they're just like, I liked some of those interactions. Those things were funny to me. Like, they didn't have a vacuum this time for the married to sleep. They just was like, we're just going to put her on 2 Roombas. And then she's going to be, that's going to be her bitch's broom, 2 Roombas.
Okay, you know what? You're right. It was funny when they were trapped with the salt and the Roomba.
Yes, and the Roomba was like cleaning the salt. And I'm like, y'all ain't think about that? But there was so much gaps and holes, like the ridiculousness of the Reverend character, and then there was no payoff. There was a Reverend in the past, and then they were like, I was like, why is this character here in the future? Why is he again here? It was so many holes, and it was like you said, it was super forced. And the ending,
to me, I don't think that part was a hole. It just felt like, why? It was very forced. It was like,
call it a hole.
Pigeonhole this dude into the story for what reason?
Yeah, and then the black dude getting the
I'm gonna tell Billy's story. I'm immediately going to turn around because blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, like, just go sit down somewhere.
Just him, like, trying to get them. I was like, one, he goes and help the black dude, Gilbert, who started this whole thing, gets, like, the Billy, the ghost from the zombie from the first one.
Billy Butcherson,
who apparently kissed Winnie, but wanted her sister Sarah. And he gets him to help him find all this stuff because he wants to help the Senators come back. And I'm like, and then at the end, they just like don't really like, oh, thank you for getting our stuff, bye, and then like zoom him off. I was like, look at you, and then at the end, he tried to come back and be like, I'm gonna save these 16-year-old kids who I endangered their lives from the beginning. I don't understand. I was like, what kind of person are you? I was like, ain't no. Had they been black. And the sad thing was, this character, he was black, and I was very ashamed. I was like, this is not you. This is not you. Gilbert didn't make sense to me, because I was like, and then him coming back at the end when everything was done, and the kids basically saved themselves. Or not really. I don't even know what to call what happened. The resolution, just the thing resolved itself, I guess. I just thought it was really dumb. Like, I was like, what is this? No payoff. I was like, your character was useless. They didn't need you in the film, really, for the rest of the film. There was like a lot wrong with this film.
Everything was so forced. The music number, I mean, I Put a Spell on You was my very favorite part of the first Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
And they had a different music number. Yeah, they did. And it just didn't work nearly as well. And it's just like, it was so forced.
Yeah.
And most things, including the comedy, like the comedy from the original one, you know, they didn't try to force it to be a comedy. I felt like they forced this to be a comedy.
You know what, you're right. Because I'm not going to lie, I watched it all the way through the first time. I watched Hocus Pocus 2. I like slept for like 30 minutes. Then I watched Hocus Pocus 2 again. No, I watched 2, then 1, then 2 again. And I skipped through parts because I didn't want to watch the whole thing. But I was trying to see like, okay, I watched 1. Let me see. And then I was like, you're right. It was just... Hocus Pocus 1 was like effortless.
Yeah.
You were just going through in the comedy. I felt like I had hearty belly laughs.
Yeah,
because they just came natural. And then the other ones were like, oh, that's... And Hocus Pocus 2, I was like, oh, that's stupid. But I was done. And then I was like, what's happening with these girls? Like, what are they doing? Like, I thought the drama between the girls was not enough for me to care about.
And it was stupid drama. I'm like, this may... I mean, I know teenagers can be kind of stupid, but...
It did not hold no...
Stupid.
It was like...
It didn't seem like a legitimate, like... what's the...
a legitimate
conflict.
draw.
It didn't seem like legitimate conflict. Like, this doesn't even make sense. You wouldn't ask this person, like, oh, I didn't know that's why you guys stopped hanging out with me. I'm like, really? Really?
It was so dumb.
I'm like, this is not feeling natural at all. This conflict does not feel natural.
I don't, and like, I felt like the Hocus Pocus had like a great, like, story arc. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, to me, it's like, okay, they got to. I don't know what it was that off-putting, even though it seemed like it was like nice and Disney-fied for Hocus Pocus 2 to end the way it did, because basically Winnie wanted to get all this power, and she did get this power, but she didn't know about the warning, and what the sacrifice was her 2 sisters were just gonna be gone. And then she was like, oh, bring my sisters back or whatever, and I was just like,
to be honest, that's the only thing that bumped it up from. We'll talk about ratings later. It bumped it up half. It bumped it up a contact. A monocle. Thank you. That's the half. It bumped it up a monocle for me, but this did not get a high rating for me. That bumped it up a monocle, but even then, it wasn't enough. It's just like, okay, this makes it slightly better.
But that, to me, I was gonna say that it didn't. Like, to me, it was like, this is a different movie than what I was just watching the whole time. And I felt like they were trying to make something. I don't know. I know that they were trying there. Yeah. But it was like, I don't see the connect. But to me, they were, in the first one, the sisters are the bad guys. And you get that, and they're comical, but they're the bad guys. And you get the arc, and you see it play out, and you're like, yeah, what's supposed to happen to them happens. But then in this one, you're just like, you're trying to act like Winnie is better. Like, she would actually, I don't know, it just seemed like it betrayed her character. I felt like she would actually just want to live and be, if she was real Winnie, she would just like, oh, well, they're gone. I'm going to be powerful.
I actually disagree about that. I think that, and I think that's what they were trying to do, like, the very beginning of the movie.
To show she had a heart?
Yeah, well, to show that that's the one thing she cared about, was her sisters. Even though the way she shows it is different. And even in the first Hocus Pocus, I can actually see that. Like, I believe that she would be heartbroken over the loss of her sisters.
Even
enough
though
she
was slapping them around all the time.
Yeah, she's slapping them around, but I was like, I truly love my sisters. And I actually believe that. And I think if that had been the focus, if they wanted to make that the focus of the movie,
it should have been in earlier, yeah.
It should have been more naturally, because, like, I felt like Hocus Pocus, the thing was, like, okay, Thackeray, he's resigned himself to living forever.
Well, no, they did. They
no, I mean, he resigned because, like, he knows that's going to happen. Because he hoped he would die, but he resigned himself to living forever. And he's like, this is what I'm going to do with my immortality, is I'm going to make sure nobody else has to go through what I do. Yeah. And it's like, okay, good. I've got, like, a solid stakes to hold on to as a viewer. And then at the very end, it's a wonderful payoff, because he dies, and you're, like, really sad at first. You're like, no,
yeah, especially him in connection with Danny.
Yes, and because that, like, legitimate connections forged throughout the film that you were invested in. Yep. And when he dies, you're heartbroken, but then you see his spirit united with his sister, and that was a great payoff. Yeah. It was a great payoff. If you were invested in it, you're like, this is his reward. Like, this is what he wants.
I felt like they were trying to mirror the first movie, but in the wrong. It just came out in the wrong ways, because that moment was akin to what happened in the end with Winnie, but for some reason, to me, I was like, this is not placed well. Like, I was just like, I don't buy this. Like, I don't there was a disconnect in what was happening. And then also, I didn't understand the powers of the girls, because I was like, okay, so the main girl, Becca, she's the witch, actually. But her friends are not witches, yet they had powers to help her fight stuff.
I think they only had powers because she shared it.
Is that how they do stuff?
Now, granted, I would have to rewatch it to see for sure, but I felt like
make sense to me.
They did not have powers naturally. I felt like Becca was the only one who naturally had, like,
she was the one.
A natural witch.
She had the blue glow in her hands.
But then I think they read the book, and it talked about, like, sharing power or something like that. So I think she shared the power with her 2 friends, and that's how they, like, bounced out. But Winnie, wanted the power for herself, and so there was, like, the consequences, and then her sister, like, the thing she loved most or cherished most, her sisters, disappeared. But, like, I felt like that was a good lesson, because I like movies that have, like, an underlying theme or something, and I felt that would have been, like, that was a really good underlying theme, which is why I bumped it up slightly on the rating that I gave it. But it didn't it wasn't a great payoff, because they didn't really build it well into the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I felt like a stronger thing would have been all of them were witches or none of them were. That would have been better to me. Because this was what was good about the first movie. It was like, these kids don't have powers. They're just regular kids trying to survive a mistake that they made, lighting a candle, and then the Sanders sisters are back. And it's just the kids trying to, like, survive and be rid of the witches. But it's, like, this going back and forth with her, like, oh, she's a witch. She started off being one. And then I just was like, what is going on here? Like, it was like she was trapping them, and then she was like, I want the book for myself. And then I'm like, what is... I don't know. I was not following.
I thought of something from the first movie. That there is actually, like, parallels between Thackeray and Max, because they both have sisters.
Exactly.
And they both want to be good brothers, but Max starts out a little rocky. He's like, oh, I'm so frustrated with my sister, like, why is she around, almost. And by the end, he's like, yeah. And then by the end, like, you know, Thackeray's like, cherish her and everything, and, like, I mean, you can see, even when he was frustrated, he was like, you're still my sister. He tried to, like, make up for being frustrated with her in front of the bullies and stuff. But it's like... he had like a good character development because he became braver to protect his sister because you know those bullies like took his shoes and stuff and he wouldn't face off with them. She's like, you're gonna get it now because my big brother's here, and you just see how much she loves and kind of like idolizes her big brother.
Yeah, it was a direct parallel with Zachary and his sister Emily, and what he was doing the whole time.
Emily, I called her Sarah. Thank you.
That's okay. But, and then also, they built that stuff well.
Yes.
They built it up. This film, to me, the kids, their storylines were flimsy. That I was
did not care.
Me too. I was like, I don't really care about y'all. I didn't care about what's going on.
I don't care about y'all at all.
I was like, why is your friend having a random party? And then I was like, there was no payoff in the mayor's thing. Like, I was like, there's a flash mob going on. The flash mob was trying to find some guy who was already at the event that they were at. And then they dispersed. And I was like, what is this? And I felt like they were only using that vehicle because they wanted to updo the dance, though. They wanted to, like, continue the dance thing that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like,
it was forced. It was like,
y'all keep trying to recreate the other movie. And it's like, no.
If you wanted that, it needed to be in there naturally.
It was unnatural. And I would prefer they had something totally different than what they were trying to do. I was very... I'm sorry. I just was very disappointed.
I was very disappointed, too. I mean, well... I wasn't disappointed in the actresses that they brought back, like
I liked that all of them came
Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy. They were great as the Sanderson sisters, but they were not well written for this one.
Didn't serve their talents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The story did not serve their talents because they are wonderful actresses and they are great as the Sanderson sisters. But it's like y'all didn't know what to do with them, honestly.
And so I was like, if you didn't, you should have. Did somebody read this? Like. Who watched this and signed off on this? I was like, this isn't good. They even had some of the same crew and people come back to make the music and stuff. And then they had like a song at the end. And I was just like, this is not Disney Channel film quality. I was mad. I was like, this is not the monthly movie that we have. Like, I was like, this is not Disney Channel movie quality.
You know what I thought about? I also feel like this was very, 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 very much a kid movie.
Yeah. Didn't it feel like it was like, I shouldn't be watching this?
Like this is humor for children. Children. Whereas Hocus Pocus 2 was a family movie for kids and adults would enjoy it.
I mean, one, right?
Thank you. Yes, I did say Hocus Pocus. I felt like Hocus Pocus 2 was very much a kids movie. It was like humor and stuff for kids, for a kid audience. Whereas Hocus Pocus, the original one, it was a family movie, so kids can watch it, adults can watch it, and both of them are going to enjoy it.
Yes, and no one will feel like, oh my God, I can't watch this. You would just identify with the characters and go in. But for some reason, I don't know what it was, but from the onset, I could not connect with the main characters. I was like, I don't understand what this awkwardness is. And I was like, there's no build. I was like, there's no need for this. There was nothing explaining what the relationship was. I was like, why are they talking about this random chick? And I was like, is she part of their friend group? It was just like, I was like, I need some backstory.
I could see what was happening. You know, I could infer what was happening, but I'm like, this is stupid.
Exactly. And I'm like, if you can't have the situation bring the people in to identify with them, you're not going to have people fall. I wanted to click off the movie so many times.
And it was like, okay, there's been movies where, lots of high school movies where
I just love that you said a dumpster fire. I just remembered that. I'm like, it's a great word.
Where there's it's in high school and there's a falling out between friends because one joins the popular crowd. Actually, I was just recently started watching Cobra Kai, which is actually very good.
Oh.
And this is a much better, way better done kind of dynamic between two friends who kind of fall out because one joins the popular crowd and one kind of gets left behind, and the friction between that. But it's done much better. And it's like, it makes more sense because one is like, oh, I'm into like robotics and stuff. And the other girl's really smart, but she hangs out with this kind of dumb Valley Girl kind of crowd, even though she's still interested in the same things. And then this one, in Hocus Pocus 2, it's like the two friends, they're like, oh, we're into our whole, like, the Sanderson, like, the
witchy thing.
And the other one joins, like, this popular crowd, and they're like, oh, well, I don't understand. It's not like she stopped hanging out with them. They're like, oh, we just don't like them. This other friend group.
The justification for what was happening didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah, it was stupid.
I was like, what?
And she's like, oh, I didn't understand. I'm like, how did you not understand? And why would you tell her, like, hey, I'm not into your friends. Can we just hang out, just us? Why did this not happen? Why did this conversation not happen a lot sooner?
Even the boy was just like, he's like, I never made fun of you guys. I just said you were weird.
That was the one part in the movie that was the funniest to me. Where he's like, I thought I was just pointing out stuff. I never bullied you. And it's like, that is bullying. He's like, what? I have so many people to apologize to. Now that was funny to me. I was like, oh my God.
It was so stupid, but I was just like, he really wasn't trying to be bad. That's why I was like, he was like, I wasn't trying to do nothing like that. And I just was like, oh God. It was just bad. It was a dumpster fire, like you said.
It was.
I was thoroughly disappointed.
But you know, though, the positive thing about it is...
They learned not to do this again?
Well, for us, I mean. Not for them. Not for them. Positive thing for us.
And there was no Binks. I wanted a black cat to talk. There was no talking cat.
That probably would have been... They probably would have shoehorned that in a not great way, too.
You're right.
It probably would have been a dumpster fire again. But the good thing, at least for us, is like for the last 20 episodes, we've been watching really good stuff.
Yeah.
Highly rated stuff. So the good part for us is I like that...
We finally have a low-ranking film to talk about. A low-ranking film.
And I think the good thing about that is it allows us to analyze, like, why didn't this work?
Yeah.
And I like that part about it. Because then we could have compared it to the first and be like, what was it about the second one that they got so wrong that was so right in the first one? Yeah. And I do like...
And I got to watch the first one again, and yes! I actually enjoyed it. Because I haven't watched Hocus Pocus 1 in years. Because I don't do Halloween, so I just don't really care anymore.
And I guess in my case, since Disney Plus came out, so then they had it more easily available. Yeah. But I actually own the DVD, so it made it easier for me to be able to watch it every year.
But I liked Hocus Pocus 1. I watched it again and I was like, wow, this is really good still.
I feel like Hocus Pocus is pretty much universally
I just
loved.
think they need to forget about 2, that they need to just forget they made 2 and just leave it alone.
I mean, I know that a lot of fans were wanting a sequel, including myself, but it's like, if you can't think of something good, don't do it.
Yeah. I don't know if I felt like one of the things, I will say this before we go into reading, but I felt like they were trying to do so much of the new age stuff that was going on. Like, there's so many like movies about kids with witches, and I was like, they were trying to do that. And then I just feel like they were trying to do too much. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, dial it back. Like,
and none of it done well.
Yeah. And I was like, then you have my girl, Hannah Gillingham, I think is her name, from Ted Lasso.
Because me and my mom were arguing about it because she thought it was someone else, and I was like, no, I think that's from Ted Lasso.
Yep, that's
and
her.
Then I looked her up. I was like, I was right, Mom, in your face.
And I liked her little scene, but I was like, oh, that's all she's gonna be doing.
And
like,
there was no payoff on that.
And I was mad. I was like, y'all just had her in that one scene. I was like, okay. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Very random.
It was, and I
thought there was going to be some type of payoff.
I would have loved if she had just come in and done some more stuff or something.
That would have been nice. Yeah, it was just like you were just left feeling cold by the end of the movie. It was like there was no really good payoff.
Yeah, and even the way the film resolved itself, it was just kind of like lackluster.
It was lackluster. It was. Again, I think it was slightly. It made it better than the rest of the movie. I was like, okay, you
not
bumped.
To me.
For me, it bumped it up. Okay, I'm going to talk about my rating really quick.
Go ahead.
I gave it a. Oh man, what am I giving it?
I got mine.
I think I ended up giving it a 6 glasses. Because for me, when I was watching it, it was like 5 glasses or maybe 5 glasses and a monocle. But the part about her like losing his sisters and learning that like that this wasn't worth that bumped it up a monocle for me. Because honestly, watching through the rest of it, I'm like, this is a middling movie. This is a 5.
I'm glad you said that because Actually, that whole part was why I wanted to knock it to 4, because I was like, this is not the same movie. I felt like I was watching one thing, and then this part comes up, and I'm like, even though this part is sweet, it just is like, oh God, like it just felt like, oh, okay, let's make it sweet now. And I was just like, it just felt like a failure to me. So I wanted to knock it down after that moment, because I just didn't like how the younger girls were. I didn't like their portion in the resolution. And so I was like, what? I just didn't like it. And then the guys, and then Gilbert and Billy coming at the end. I was just, what the heck is this? I was just done by the end. I was like, can we wrap this up? So, but I looked at it again, and I saw the funnier points. I liked the singing. I like the flash mob. I just love flash mobs, even though the flash mob was ill-placed. Didn't mix. It wasn't necessary. But I also liked the little cosplay that happened. That was cosplay.
Yeah, the cosplay
everybody was
contest.
cosplaying. Yeah, everybody was
insane.
So I'm going to keep it at my original rating of 5 glasses, and that's all it's going to get. That's it. So you guys, that is our review of Hocus Pocus 2. It may seem harsh, but it's honest.
Average rating, so that makes it an average of 5 glasses and a monocle.
Yes, because that's all. I don't even know if it deserved that monocle, but Whitney was being generous as usual. But that is our rating of the film, you guys. Let us know what you guys thought of Hocus Pocus 2. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people, my sister was saying there was so much hype, people were saying that this was awesome, and then she was like, what were they saying? Like, she was
what
like,
were they watching? What were they watching?
That's what she was saying. She's like, I heard so many people say it was awesome, and I was just like, this sucked.
Were these like Gen Zers who had never seen the original?
Maybe.
My
sister
but
said
then that
she would give it 4 glasses.
into question their taste overall. Anyway, even if you have not seen the original, this was a legitimately not great.
It's not a great film, and the fact that we watched it again twice.
Okay, you know what? Now that I think about it, we do. I don't know how. We did have something to compare it to.
Yeah.
So maybe it would have been slightly higher. It still wouldn't have been good.
No.
But it maybe would have been slightly higher if we didn't have the original, which was so good.
The fact that I watched this twice was just to show how dedicated I am to making sure that I present well on this pod. It's only for you guys, because otherwise I would never watch it again. Never. Ever.
Sister.
I only give it a 5 out of nostalgia for the first one, because I just was like, certain moments were funny, but other than that, I was just like, nah, I'm done with this film. Bye. It was trash. I'm sorry.
Yep. That was a garbage fire.
So that's it from us, and don't forget, you guys, hit us up on TikTok, Instagram, and like review and rate, and you might have your review.
Subscribe to our newsletter, you guys.
Yes, we might have your review on live. You leave us one, we might say it on the pod. Okay, so just reach out to us.
Shout you out.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah, connect with us, y'all. Like, if there's something that you want, you think we should watch, and you want to hear our take on it, like, hit us up.
Yes, and join us too. Like, anybody want to come on the pod and talk with the Blerds?
Yeah,
you a Blerd yourself? You an RVA? We love meeting new folks.
Let me do a shout out. Shout out to Will Mapp.
Oh yeah.
Well, the third.
Oh yeah, tell us about it, Whitney.
Well, he was just hitting us up on Instagram recently and said that he had shouted us out on an interview that he did. So I wanted to shout him out too and say thanks, Will.
Thank you, Will. Still waiting for our anecdotes issue 2. I'm still waiting. Just so you know.
Yeah. So I won't say too much, because I don't know if that was just like a DM conversation about stuff he's working on. But looking forward to more stuff coming from Will.
All right, y'all. And so this is the Halloween season. Y'all be safe. Get spooky if you want to. But also remember to what? Blerd out.
Blerd out.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Please subscribe to our show on whatever podcast listening app you use, and share the show with other Blerds and non-Blerd family and friends. And if you like our episode, please rate and review us on iTunes.
The intro and outro music is Twilight by Caption. You can find them on SoundCloud, username Caption, spelled CAPSHUN. The show notes are by Bola, Hanson, and the audio engineering is by Whitney Booker.
And you can contact us by email at blerdtalkbw@gmail.com. And also, don't forget to get social, you guys. You can find us on our social media at Instagram and Twitter, with our @handle being @blerdtalkbw. And we've got our individual things going on too, y'all. So you can find me, your Blerd Fashionista, on Instagram and Twitter at BolaStoryB. That's B with 2 E's like the insect. And I've got my own personal YouTube channel, just Bola Sade. That's BOLASHADE. D as in dog, E as in elephant.
And this is Whitney. You can find me at my company, Luminavi Studios. The email address is wit@luminavi.com. That's WHIT@LUMENAVI.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Luminavi Studios.